episodes you would have seen us ride the BTK tours, 4,600 Ks, do some onboard footage, film other bikes on the fly, and we wanted to show you our go-to bike for all these events and using as the mule. And the bike we're talking about is this Ducati Multistrada in our fleet. This particular one is the Multistrada 1000 DS, that's 1000cc, actually 992 DS for dual spark, and it's a 2003 launch model. Now, more about the Ducati Multistrada and its birth and where it came from. It was first shown to the public at the Milan 2001 show and then launched in 2003. And this is one of those launch bikes in the launch color. And from 2003 to 2006, it was 1000cc, made as a DS or SDS. The S version had Olin suspension, a couple of carbon parts on it. There was also a smaller version, a 620, that had a dual swing arm at the back. But then from 2007, it became the 1100 S and DS. And then from 2010, they put in the bigger 1198 motor. And from 2013, it was the Panigale motor, and obviously a completely different animal to this V-twin air-cooled. This started life at 85 horsepower, went to 92 horsepower, then up to over 150 horsepower, which it is today, and it's about a fifth or sixth evolution. However, getting back to the bike in front of me here, it was Ducati's first attempt into the crossover market, the sport touring off-road adventure bike, and it was aptly named the Multistrada, Italian for multi-street. It was also designed by the South African Pierre Terblanche, and us being South Africans, it gives it a special place in our collection. But right at the beginning, when I first saw her, I thought she was a bit of an ugly duckling. And when I was in the Eastern Transvaal, in the twisties and the mountains on a long weekend, I was running my Ducati Monster S4R. My mate happened to be running one of these 1000 DS Multistradas, and he wanted to have a run on my bike. So we swapped, and very quickly I realized that I was quicker through the mountains with one of these. So when I got back to Joburg, I told my mates at Ducati Edenvale, please find me one. And they found me this beauty. It was a pre-owned bike with 18,000 kilometers on the clock, and it has now got 129,000 kilometers. Engine's never been opened. She doesn't smoke, doesn't burn oil, nothing, and it's just trusty old steed. I know the history of the motor. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Panther era, and it's just a work of art. I mean, Pierre Terblanche put a lot of little secrets and tricks into this bike, which for me, it's my couch, and that's why I mentioned go-to bike. Commuting, working back, it's a de-stress bike. You sit upright, wide handlebars. It's just a lot of fun, very skinny bike, so lane splitting is no problem. And when we went on the BTK tour, we had some really big bikes and some modern bikes, and initially everybody thought this was funny coming with an 18-year-old bike. But we kept up with everyone, even showed them what this old baby can do, because power to weight ratio, she's so light. And when we went on our last trip, which was the Good Vibes tour, I had my cameraman Justin on the back and two up through the twisties. We were filming and even passing the guys. To share some of the adventures the two of us have been on together, we ran the Africa Bike Week 5 times, which is a run from Johannesburg down to Margate in Natal, south coast of South Africa. We ran the Farmers Festival into the Orange Free State and in the farmlands. And then we did the famous Route 62 in South Africa, which runs through the Eastern and Western Cape from Plettenberg Bay through Oudtshoorn, Barrydale, Worcester, all the way to Cape Town. We went to Blaubergstrand, and we had so much fun, we turned around and ran her in reverse. We did the BTK tour, which is a 7-day tour, 4,600 kilometers, 5 provinces, 36 mountain passes. Then just recently we did the Good Vibes tour in the mountainous region in Eastern Transvaal next to the Kruger National Park. But we weren't always on good terms. There was one particular morning when I was commuting and wasn't giving her enough attention, and she threw me off and broke my right collarbone. But I think it was more costly to repair me than her. But we've made up and sharing more good times together. And on another interesting note, Ducati actually developed this Multistrada to run the very famous hill climb in America, the Pikes Peak. And I think their first win came in 2010. And they've had a total of 7 wins. I think they won in 2018 again. So not to be outdone, I took this trusty steed onto Kyalami, which is the South African Grand Prix circuit, and thrashed her around. And there we have classes A, B, C and D. Conservatively, I went to class C, and within a few laps I broke out and was pushed up to class B. Now, running this around the Grand Prix circuit with Ducati Panigales as opposition and the older 1098s, it's quite a daunting fact, but she handles so well, scraping, side stand and foot pegs. And believe me, I will be going back to have some more fun there. I hope you enjoyed this episode with us and the stories behind this beautiful machine. Please remember to click like and subscribe. I'm going to go off and have some fun now.